Hello and welcome once more to Dul Johnson's Creative Talks. This is, again, I will insist it is a talk between you and I. And please always remember to subscribe and share this video. And whenever you have any issues, don't forget to put in the comments column below. Now, we are going to talk about finding your voice. This is not to say that you don't have a voice. I mean, you have a voice and the people around you know your voice. But we're talking about your voice in your story. You see, different people express themselves differently. Voice, I see it in two ways. Voice has to do with the way you see things, the way you see issues, the way you treat issues. And it also has to do with your style of writing. So I want to give you an example. If you have been reading, let's talk about African writers. Let's talk about Nigerian writers, for example. I'll just take two examples. Let's talk about, or three examples, okay? Achebe is the most popular writer from Africa and from Nigeria, right? If you read Achebe's stories, you will see that there is always this concern with culture and concern with the Igbo culture, concern with African culture. So invariably when you read an Achebe story, that cultural touch will always be ringing, okay? That search for identity for the African, for the Igbo, will always be ringing in the story. Now, that is part of what I see as voice. Then the other, of course, is the unique Achebe way of the use of English, popularly described as the transliteration of Igbo sentences or statements or words into English. Transliteration. So, an Igbo expression, for example, when Achebe uses it in the story, in his story, it comes in the way that an Igbo man would put it. You know, I don't have an immediate example now. I wish I had one, but I'll look for. But I'm saying that when you read an Achebe novel, you can clearly see and hear that he is actually bringing Igbo statements that he is transliterating into English, which is very different from people who struggle to write in English as if they were English people. And there are many of us that do that, you know. So you would end up doing the same thing. And that's what translates into style. So we see that Achebe writes in a way that we will always see expressions that are typically Nigerian or typically Igbo translated into English. Now, I said I'm going to give three examples. You can look at poets, for example. If you see, read someone like Tanure or Jaide, for example, you will, first of all, literally everything that is, almost everything that is dealing with is Niger Delta issues. And you can feel the anger in his voice, right? So that's the point of view I'm talking about. But of course, his style also shows, you know, he uses short but very terse sentences that can punch and make you even feel the anger with him, right? Compare that with someone like Niyi Osundare, for example, who has a very soft, nice, but of course biting way of, expressing his ideas. He'll be expressing very serious ideas, but he'll be making it very easy, very cheap, that everybody can read and enjoy. And of course, he says it, that poetry is for everybody, it's for the common man, So he's not writing like, say, the kind of Shoyinka poetry, for example. So this is what we mean by style. But of course, how do you develop style? It doesn't come in one day. That's the point I want you to understand for today. Style is what you build over a period of time. Now, you write your first story, and we see, for example, that you use very long sentences, long winding sentences, very difficult for people to understand. Your second novel is like that, your third story is like that. Of course, we see that that is your style. And if those sentences, in spite of their length, are very captivating, we will accept that as your style and we will like you for that. There are those who will make very short sentences. There are those whom for every sentence you can see a picture in it. There are those whom you're reading and you are hearing sounds as if you are dealing with poetry. Now, this is what we mean by style, okay? The way you express yourself, the way you choose words to express the ideas in your mind. That is style. But as I said, it has to come through practice. So the thing is, it can come unconsciously or it can be conscious. You see, if you have decided, for example, as Niyi Osundare has said, you want everybody to enjoy your story. You want to write in a language that everybody can read and enjoy. In that way, you really have to make sure that even when words come that are, you think they are the most appropriate words and they are difficult words, when you go to rewrite or when you go to revise, you are going to make sure that such words are taken out and simpler words. There will always be a simpler word to use in place of a big, word. So these are the ways in which you can establish your style. Over time, deliberately ensure that you write in the way that you have chosen to write. But make sure that it is something that works for you and works for your readers. Otherwise, you will force a style and your style will put you out of the market of readership. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe.